West. We're somewhere between Cleveland and Chicago. So if I disappear, it's technology.
Understood.
Thank you.
That can happen in Vermont too, so.
Yes.
Or New Hampshire, That can happen in Vermont too, so.
Okay, you're good to go.
We're good? All right, super. Thank you so much, Josh. So I will call us to order. And our first order of business tonight is our public hearing to accept a whole series of donations. Gratefully, I will add. The first donation is from the Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation, and I believe we have Jenny Chambers here to speak to that.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Sorry, I don't sound like a chorus teacher tonight after our block schedule and singing like 7 hours. Thank you, first of all, for having this meeting to get these in earlier. Really, really appreciate that. So I wrote to Dorothy Byrne, who's been a phenomenal donor across the chart to our whole Upper Valley, but particularly to the music department, to help fund an opera documentary, which is provided. We're hoping to create an educational tool for classrooms across the country, honestly, on how you can approach opera in the high school setting, and then how that translates to working with professionals in the field, working with Filippo Ciabatti, who's at Dartmouth, world-renowned conductor, and coaches such as Marcia Cassidy, who's at Dartmouth as well. And then obviously Nora Jacobson is a very accomplished documentary artist. So Dorothy graciously made this donation toward this project with joy. And we're so deeply grateful to her and how much she supports the arts.
Thank you very much, Jenny, and thank you, obviously, to the Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation. Is there anyone else who wanted to speak to this?
I just want to commend Jenny. This is a huge undertaking for her. She's not missing a beat with everything she's got going on in school, and this is just adding so much to her plate. So I want to thank her and everybody else that's involved in this.
Agreed. Are there any questions? Yes, Neil.
Just trying to understand. So the money will be used for activities at the high school. Like, how is it associated with the documentary? I'm a little confused.
So the students auditioned for this. Quite honestly, has taken on a life of its own, as most of my projects do, much to my husband's amusement or displeasure, depending on the day. So it started as just being a vocal coaching with Filippo, and then has evolved into, so high school students in the chorus auditioned for an opera project I was doing. Then he came in and coached, and we were like, this would be great to add some orchestra members in. And then I was like, well, this is phenomenal educational information for other schools for how to incorporate opera into the school. And then looked at, well, how can we document this and preserve this so it can be a curricular tool across the country? And then wrote to Dorothy Byrne to see if she would help fund it so that Nora can create a keepsake that can be then sent as a curricular tool to other schools on how do you teach opera? How do you make it accessible? And how do you do that in the high school setting, and with a toolkit for elementary, middle, and high school level. So her funding goes towards hiring Nora, whoever Nora needs for the sound technicians, for the finishing. And she's part of Off the Grid Productions, for those of you that aren't aware, and has gotten international acclaim for her work with documentaries. So we're super excited for the opportunity this grant has provided us.
Kelly, if I might, so I mean, this sounds like an excellent opportunity. I'm just a little confused on how the cash is flowing through this. Does the grant flow through the school and then the school pays the director? I'm a little.
Yeah, exactly. So the school would, and the board first would need to accept the donation. Then the school would then pay Nora directly through Off the Grid Productions for the whole process, all the time she puts in, the technicians she utilizes, and the final product. Then the rights are owned by the school, not by Off the Grid Productions. So then this is a documentary that we own that then we use to help educate people on opera and how it can really shape and form students' lives.
And there's also supplies that are being used by the school that Jenny has to go out and get for the production. I know gowns were a big part of it.
Are there any other questions? All right, seeing none, I will take a motion to accept this donation. Rick,
Move to approve the donation with gratitude from the Jack and Dorothy Byrne Foundation in the amount of $14,000 for filming What is Opera?
thank you. Is there a second? John, all in favor? I think we have to do these separately, so we'll do a quick roll call vote, starting with Brittany.
Joyce, yes.
Tom?
Candon, yes.
Ben?
Heaney, yes.
Neil?
Odell, yes.
Rick?
Johnson, yes.
Marcella?
DeBlasi, yes.
John?
Yes.
Lisa?
Christie, yes.
And McConnell, yes. Thank you again. And we will move on to a donation from the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools. And I assume that Tim will be speaking to this. Is that right?
Yeah, we wanted to thank the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools for their continued support of the work at the Richmond School. So we got some money in the fall and we got some more money this spring. It was divided between, not equally, but between two grants, one for our guided study area, who's run by our 504 coordinator, Nat Shellness, and he requested alternative seating, which is basically, I think you've seen them, they're like big cushions, they're about this big, and they move around and they allow students who may have some difficulty sitting still to actually sit in their chairs or at times stand and sort of activate their body without bouncing around too much. And it has been a real work in progress for students to be able to focus within their study hall situation. And Nat had done a lot of research on that, and the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools granted that. So I think we're looking forward to how well that will work. I have one in my office. It works really well for many, many Zoom meetings to sort of keep you focused. The second grant was a rather large grant, which we were very, very thankful for, to our woodworking shop. Cliff Harriman has taken over this year, as most of you know, after Richie Starr had been the person who had been in charge of the woodworking shop for 43 years. And he has changed the direction a little bit in that he's trying to increase the number of students that have access to all of the ability to work with wood. And in order to do that, he needed to be able to create basically class sets of very specific tools. And the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools have granted that. It's part of a larger plan that Cliff has to sort of branch out from individual work, which is what we had been focused on for a number of years, to sort of more community-based work. So this year he was able to take the classes that he had and some of the 8th graders who've been there for a while and build staircases for some people in need in the community. He built ski racks for our school and the Ray School because we couldn't bring skis inside anymore. And this is sort of the direction that it's going. And the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools have been a huge boon for us, so that now we have we're able to reach out and get a lot of tools for all of the students individually.
Great, thank you, Tim. Are there questions? Okay, seeing none, I will take a motion. Ben?
Move to approve with sincere gratitude the donation of $10,728.82 from the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools to be used for alternative seating and woodshop retooling at Richmond Middle School.
Is there a second? John again, and I will take a roll call vote, starting with Brittany.
Joyce, yes.
Tom?
Candon, yes.
Ben?
Heaney, yes.
Neil?
Odell, yes.
Rick?
Johnson, yes.
Marcella?
DeBlasi, yes.
John?
Yes.
Lisa?
Christie, yes.
And McConnell, yes. Thank you again to the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools. And our final donation for this evening, again from the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools. And I'm not sure who's speaking to this one. Jim?
So again, this is, it's for $1,150. And $1,000 is going towards the opera series that Jenny just discussed. I don't know, Jenny, if you want, I think you pretty much covered it in your first.
Yeah, just that this portion is covering the coachings with Filippo, and the other donation is covering the filming of the documentary, just so you know the difference. So this is more educationally based. This is bringing him in to work with the kids and with the instrumentalists.
And then the other piece of this is $150 that was awarded to Bill Hammond for the math department. And Bill, if you'd like to explain what your idea was to brighten the place up.
So before I say that, though, I've got to tell you how grateful I am for all the work that you are doing as a school board to keep us going as a school. This is hard work this year. It's just an unusual year, and to have the support from you and from the administrators makes our teaching a lot easier. So thank you. We had, before renovation, a mural in the math quarter up on the 3rd floor of a history of mathematics from 5000 BC to the present. And some of that had to be removed when the renovation happened. So we've been doing new murals. We cut out some of the old murals to put them up there, and we're doing new murals. And during March Intensive this year, we're doing a few murals on mathematical ideas to help inspire students, but they're going to be right up on the wall. I asked the teachers what their greatest interests in mathematics, what were the most inspiring ideas in mathematics. They've told me, and the students in March Intensive are going to take some of those and make those a permanent part of the wall. We have money already through March Intensive to deal with some of the paints and stuff like that. This extra $150 is perhaps post March Intensive if we have any paint or framing that we need to do in order to blend everything together up there. So that's what the $150 is for. And we're really grateful to the Friends of the Hanover Norwich Schools for that. By the way, they were the ones who originally funded that mural, that 14-foot mural of the history of math from 5000 BC to the present.
Thank you. I will admit, when I read this, I was curious how the math hallway art and the opera lab series was working together on this. So now this makes a little more sense to me. I'm sure we could find a way, but are there questions? All right, I will take a motion. Brittany.
Sure. I move to approve with sincere gratitude the donations from the Friends of Hanover Norwich Schools in the amount of $1,150 for the Hanover High School Hall Math Hallway Art and Opera Lab series.
Thank you, Brittany. And a second. Ben, thank you. Many seconds. And we will take a roll call starting with Brittany.
Joyce, yes.
Tom?
Camden, yes.
Ben?
Keeney, yes.
Neil?
Odell, yes.
Rick?
Johnson, yes.
Marcella?
Blasi, yes.
John?
Hunt, yes.
Lisa?
Christy, yes.
And McConnell, yes. So thank you again to all of our generous donors.
Thank you.
Yes, and
Thank you all so much.
Too. Yes, thank you. So that moves us into agenda review, and I had emailed you guys. I know we're at our 15-minute time limit here, so I'm asking for your indulgence for 5 more minutes. With your permission, I would like to just give you the briefest of updates on the principal search situation at the high school. And as I had asked in my email to all of you, I would like to hear if you have any initial priorities that you would like considered in the initial phases of the principal search committee. So I'd ask Jay to just give us a 1-minute update if I get the board's approval to add this. Looking for head nods. Okay, thank you. So Jay, could you just give us the 1-minute update on where we're at?
Sure, start the stopwatch.
All right.
Okay, we have had 2 meetings so far with our committee, and we learned from our experience last time that I think in this particular case, less is more. We have representation from a variety of constituents, but the committee is about half the size of the committee that we had hired last time around. So we are in the process of reviewing applications. We have only 10 applicants this time around. So we're doing the initial screening. We'll be meeting tomorrow for our third session, and we'll hopefully decide upon those individuals that we think we want to bring in for interview. This will be an inclusive process, and we hope that by the time we have finalists, we'll be able to actually bring them on site, which was one of our limitations last time. Poor Jim took the job sight unseen, and we're hoping that his successor has the opportunity to come and visit with us so we can see that person interact with students and staff and community. Did I make it?
I think well under a minute.
Okay.
Well done.
All right.
So I was just hoping, board members, if you've had a chance to think a little bit about any initial priorities that come to mind as we do, as Jay mentioned, these initial screenings, anything that you would like me to share with the committee as board priorities. John?
Fantastic leadership ability. And with that, I do have to duck out.
The sign of a leader, leaving early, right there.
Yes.
Thanks, John.
I trust the team.
Thanks. Ben?
Experience with high performing students as well as high expecting parents.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Neil?
Not necessarily a comment on this. Have we already, the applicants that we have, has the deadline come to close for accepting new applicants, or when does the deadline close?
We have no deadline. We posted it as until filled.
Okay.
So so we had that conversation in our last meeting that if anyone knows of anyone or is wanting to be an amateur recruiter, that's still, that possibility still exists.
And have we sort of in line with the work that we have been doing with diversity, equity, and inclusion, have we tried to reach out for a more diverse population of candidates this round?
I have advertised with the National Association of Black School Educators, and I have also ensured that through our HR department that our posting is picked up by a really wide array of advertising sources. So we had an extended period of advertisement with Ed Week, which again, lots of other search engines feed off of that to broadcast it. So I hope we're out there. It's been a tough time in my conversations with other superintendents. It's not a time where people have been seeking to give up what stability they have in their lives, and we're hopeful that that among these 10 applicants that we'll have someone who is not only qualified but promises to be a strong candidate. If not, the committee has been told that we'll once again consider whether or not we move forward for one more year with an interim placement, hoping that with COVID behind us, that we'll maybe have some more interest in the position if we end up having to do that.
And then Kelly, one more,
Yeah.
if I might. And I guess to the extent that we might know of any principals out there, outside of our own system who might be interested, but not necessarily looking for a new job. I don't know if we proactively reach out to folks to entertain whether or not they would be candidates.
So we have individually, different people have been tapping into their networks. We did talk about the possibility of a future search in which we would actually hire a headhunter. But that's sort of the extent of our outreach in terms of recruitment.
Tom.
Given where we are now and about to embark on an SAU-wide strategic plan, I think it might be helpful to have someone with strategic planning experience, both development and implementation. Mm-hmm. And if it's okay with you, Chair, I'd like to reserve the right to send by email additional thoughts if they come to mind. And with that in mind, when do you have a deadline on when these would be helpful by?
Jay, remind me, we're not making those initial decisions tomorrow, right? It'll be the meeting after that, I believe.
No, and the feedback is useful beyond the the screening. Like right now, we're just looking at sort of gross qualifications. Like we posted some minimum qualifications that we're sort of reviewing the resumes with that focus right now. So if what the teachers have done is they sent out a survey soliciting feedback around what traits they would consider important. The students are doing a similar data gathering, and we certainly could do that with the board as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just have to be sure that we're making that available to the public. So if we did that, we need to make sure that those were published, I think, somehow. So I'll have to make sure we're on top of that. But certainly, if board members, and I know we have a lot of board members who aren't here, if board members would think of something afterwards that they would like attached to these minutes on this conversation, we can certainly do that. So you can send those to me and probably copy Jay on those as well. All right, anything else? Yes, Jay.
I always feel awkward having these conversations with Jim sitting here in the audience, and always am reminded that we owe him a great thanks for the work he's done during a really difficult time, and really appreciate what you've done for us.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm one of those guys giving up my security and everything.
I did.
I'm taking a leap of faith, so thank you.
Yes. I feel like, Jim, I should also be asking you what you think this principal really needs to have. I'm sure that conversation will happen at some point. So, all right. Thank you, everybody. If there is nothing else for this evening, I will take a motion to adjourn. Yeah, Ben?
Do we have a moment for public comment? I do notice we have someone in the public.
Yes, I've been waiting to see if her hand was raised, but I don't think... Oh, we do have a public may address the board. Thank you, Ben. Laura, did you want to say anything? I'm not seeing a hand go up, but thank you, Ben, for pointing that out. All right, and we don't need non-public. So if there is nothing else, I will take a motion to adjourn. Rick.
Move to adjourn at 6:24.
Thank you. And a second? Ben? And I'll take a roll call starting with Brittany.
Joyce, yes.
Tom?
And yes.
Ben?
Heaney, yes.
Neil?
Odell, yes.
Rick?
Johnson, yes.
Marcella?
DeBlassi, yes.
Lisa?
Christy, yes.
Thanks, Lisa. And McConnell, yes. Thank you, everybody, for giving me some of your Thursday evening. Go enjoy the last rays of sunshine.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.